Happy Bedlam Eve, Sooner Nation. Welcome to the Sooner Surge. As we are here for a little injury update. Before we get started, make sure you are part of what's going on here at the Sooner Surge by subscribing to our YouTube channel, turning on your notifications, liking and commenting. We want to hear from you on maybe percentage of how many of these guys are going to be suited up and on the field tomorrow in the last Bedlam matchup, probably ever. So let's get right to it, Jay. I think we'll start with the guy that everyone's wondering about, and that's Danny Stutzman.
Yeah, and everything you've heard this week has been good signs, but I don't know if that really means anything, if that makes any sense at all. And I mean, I'll say this. Brent Venables early in the week said, he's doing good, right? And then you had, and he said it'd be more of a game time decision. You had Trace Ford yesterday on the Sports Animal, and he said, oh, he's going to have basically he's going to be ready to go, have a great game or whatever. He's going to go off, I think is what he said, but nothing real. To me, everybody can say he's going to play, okay? But until you get out there and see how it feels, I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think right now my percentage would be about 60 to 70% that he plays.
Yeah, I'm leaning 60-40 that Stutzman is on the field on Saturday, at least to give it a go. Now, how much he can do on it, that's going to be said. We'll see what that.
He's going to do everything in his power to get out there. That's what
right. And obviously, BV does not ever tip his hand into these injury situations. He's been pretty on the, pretty quiet all year on things where it looks like some guys are going to play, and then maybe they don't. And then other areas, it looks like someone's not going to play, and they are. So I think Stutzman, and, maybe Ford was throwing that out there to make OSU think. I don't know. There's so much gamesmanship a little bit throughout these weeks, especially these rivalry games. But I'm looking 60-40 Stutzman will play. There's been nothing really out of practice that we've heard. None of that. So
very
it's just
quiet.
been very hush-hush. Now, on the other side, something that's not been as hush-hush is the Gentry Williams injury.
Yeah, it sounds like Gentry Williams should be good to go. He's practiced this week. So that's the positive. He has practiced. And you mentioned kind of stuff being, early throughout the year, whether or not guys are going to play or not. He was one of the guys last week that just kind of out of the blue thought, well, he didn't play at all. And that was kind of interesting. So I expect Gentry Williams to be back and playing this week, which is a huge, huge asset for Oklahoma.
Yeah, I would say it's probably 85% we're going to see Gentry. He's a 918 kid. Grew up watching this game. The chance of him missing this, I think, are very slim. I'm going to go 85%, 15% that he does not play. Let's stay on the offensive side of the ball, Jay. Marcus Major and Toby Walker. Two guys we know that are banged up. Major's been banged up, nursing that shoulder injury. Always wears a protection on that shoulder. And then you have Toby Walker, who had the ankle injury last week in Lawrence. So let's start with Marcus Major, Jay.
Yeah, it was a little concerning last week that he didn't make the trip at all. That to me was almost like a red flag. Like, to me, if he was bruised up like he has been, he makes that trip in case they need him. Because like Walker got hurt. What if another back would have got hurt? You're down to probably Smothers or Hicks. So to me, it was a big enough injury where he couldn't go at all and make the trip. So I don't know. I think he might be spotty this week and could play, but I'm not very optimistic on that one just because of him not making the trip at all to Kansas, Jeremy. And I haven't heard anything on it.
Yeah, and we'll get a depth chart video released too today. You'll get that if you're part of the Sooner Surge, and he is listed higher in the depth chart. I'm going to say about 65% we see Marcus Major tomorrow in Bedlam. Toby Walker. I do think the Toby Walker injury is one that could hold him out of this. I just don't know how much movement on that ankle he's going to have cutting back until we can see him maybe in pre-games planting on that ankle. That's going to determine it. Nothing out of practice has been said. Sounds like, though, probably has just been receiving treatment after treatment after treatment in the training room. Probably hasn't done any reps this week. But I'm going to say below 50% that Toby Walker plays, Jay.
Well, he is a guy that last week, listened to him talk after the game. He said he wanted to go, got out there. He just couldn't cut on it at all. And as a running back, you're going to have to be able to plant and cut. And so, big part of what he does. So, it is interesting. And if you think about it, Danny Stutzman, Toby Walker, probably Marcus Major, those three guys, they could all be game time decisions. I mean, literally could be, if they're getting treatment day after day, I mean, how much are we really going to know until they get out there the day of, see how it's feeling? Because that's still 2 days. It's tomorrow. It's almost 24, 48 hours still. So as we're
Yeah.
recording this. So still a lot to be determined on those. But I think Toby Walker, I'm not very confident that he does play this week, Jeremy.
Yeah. We'll stay on the offensive side because McCade Matoya was back. Okay. So got to think he's pretty much full strength now, or getting close to it as much as 100% as he can be on that ankle. Walter Rouse has been bruised up. You did hear this week BV talk about the offensive line is going to continue to maybe rotate in. I think that could be because Walter Rouse is still banged up, that he's not fully 100%. That's my take on it.
I agree with your take on that because I was kind of thinking the same thing as he said that, because typically you want your O line to not be rotated in a lot. Typically you want those five to have the most cohesion and chemistry they can get. And so I think that probably has to do with McCade and Walter being banged up. I mean, you got Guyton and Rain that are locked down. That there are no issues there. And then you got, to me, Green's the left guard. I think Savion Byrd hasn't done enough to get that role. And I think you start Green out there. And then you kind of rotate if you have to with injuries with Rouse, because Sexton played pretty good when he was in there. And then obviously on the right guard, you could put Byrd if needed or whatever.
I do think if OU, which we want, I think OU fans want OU to throw the ball a little more. Walter Rouse is a better pass protector than Sexton has shown to be. So that could be something interesting to keep an eye open on that left side where Walter Rouse is at. But are there any other injuries that you can think of, Jay, that need to be reported?
I mean, you have the injury to the backup kicker, Gavin Marshall, so I don't think that'll be an issue just because unless Schmidt got hurt, which, I mean, you're probably not going to get hurt as a kicker out there. So I don't think there's really – Mason Thomas, Jeremy, I've been kind of waiting for him to kind of pop off a little bit. So let's hope it's this week. He's back from injury now. Should be full and ready to go. So hopefully we can see a little bit more of him.
Here's what you guys need to do. You need to make sure that you are subscribed to our channel, because tomorrow, pregame, as guys are going through warm-ups, we will be on here live to talk about who's going through warm-ups, who's not. You don't want to miss it. So make sure you're a part of the Sooner Surge and you have your notifications turned on so you will be updated when that video is dropping and that live is going on. Appreciate you guys joining us. Till next time, Boomer.
Sooner.